and welcome to Expressions, the quintessential podcast from the New Indian Express group. We are here to talk about all things life and lifestyle, and we will be touching upon topics like wellness, relationships, parenting, mental health, general health, and happiness. We hope to discover the extraordinary in the ordinary as our expert guests provide you with various insights and life hacks for successful, harmonious, and holistic living. Our conversations will help you choose wisely and will encourage you to set yourself up for success and provide you with positive and encouraging content for personal growth and development as we learn from the lives of others. Welcome to Expressions.
Hello and welcome to our very first edition of the Expressions podcast. Our host today is Neha and our very first guest to kick off our Expressions podcast series is none other than designer Rehane.
Thank you.
And I'm your co-host, Edison Thomas. Thank you so much for coming, Rehane. I know you have a very, very busy schedule,
Yes,
but thank you for making the time.
It's entirely my pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So, tell us, where did it all start?
Where or when? Which year? In the year of the Lord. You know what I mean? So just don't ask me when, because it started a long, long time ago. And it started after I got married. I came to Chennai and I wanted to, do something. Let's just fast forward that. I studied fashion.
Yes.
Yeah, so I studied fashion. I was always obsessed with beautiful things. And also I come from a family where the aesthetic is it's like an unspoken thing in our house.
Right,
okay,
right.
Beauty. Beautiful people, beautiful clothes, beautiful music, beautiful food, the way we present food, even when we eat every day. Nothing is average or plain about the way, we all have been brought up. Intellectually, like the first book I read, for example, my father, he gave me a book called The Brothers Karamazov of Dostoevsky when I was 11 years old.
Yes.
And he said, try to read it. Try to read this book. And so that's the kind of upbringing we have. So, and my mother was very into everything, like beautiful shawls. Like I have a huge collection of very old fabrics. Maybe one day I'll show them to you, I think your mom also will understand. A lot of old fabrics, old shawls, so.
Yeah. So you were born in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you lived in a diplomat's house.
Yeah, well, my father being a diplomat with the Indian Diplomatic Corps, I would say very interesting. But when you keep moving from place to place, you become an emotional gypsy. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? So you are always disconnected from everyone.
Yeah, like the outsider, like something like that.
You become, I won't say an outsider, because we are most comfortable with strange people.
Okay.
People like us who've been moved around so much, who've been born in one place. We've never spent more than 2 years in a place, 2 or 3 years, 3 years would have been excessive. So people like us, and there's a whole tribe of us, that emotionally we are like a kind of sort of disconnected from wherever we are.
That also gave you a lot of opportunity to get used to change, right?
Yeah, so the thing is, we get itchy feet. Or we can be with 100 people and still be totally disconnected. Can have no intimacy with people. You know what? Emotional intimacy. We can just be because we can connect and disconnect very easily. I don't know, I'm speaking of myself. Maybe other people are more evolved than I am. But being the daughter, firstly, of a person who was in the diplomatic corps, firstly, it gives you great perspective because you travel that much, you see so much, you learn so much, you study in when you study in a different country, this whole culture of just going to a place for a holiday is so weird. It's like, we're going to Spain for 10 days. I'm like, what's the point? We'll make some nice paella over here and give you paella. You can have it here. You can hear some nice, the Gypsy Kings, of course, they're Mexican, but still you can hear them play on your stereo. I mean, this whole concept of ticking things off on your book. I believe if you want to really understand any culture, understand yourself vis-a-vis in another culture, you need to go and live in a place. Forget about wasting your time and your experience and everything running to Paris, sitting there for 10 days. And you go to the same shops which you see in New York, or you see in Berlin, or you see in Dubai. You'll go to the same 3 shops. Okay, all the designer shops you'll visit. You know what I mean? It's the whole thing you have to rethink. You must not bother about holidays. You must take a gap year out of your own life and just go sit in Kathmandu, or go sit in Madrid, or go sit in Vienna, wherever in the world. Just go. Learn to live among other people. Learn to speak their language, understand their food, understand their culture. Then you will understand more about yourself. You know what I mean?
And how many foreign languages do you know?
Not much, just Italian.
Not French?
No. Even though I was born there and I have so many French friends, no.
Okay.
No. I haven't even tried. I'm sure if I try, I'll be able to pick it up in a couple of months. I don't think it'll take longer than that.
Yeah. So how was vacation with children then while they were
Oh
growing
my
up?
God, when they were growing up, it was really, I've traveled so much. I've seen the entire world. And seeing it with kids is
not a holiday.
It's not. And my husband's like, oh, do you remember we went here, we went there? And he like, tell me about like Under the Linden in Berlin where we went walking. I have no memory of it. And I've been there twice. I still have no memory of it. I've been to Egypt thrice. I have memory only the time when I went as a student, before I got married. After the kids, it becomes impossible. Very, very difficult. Because you can never, it's like always one child is sneezing, the other one wants to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Or even if they're older, you're worried about them, whether they're bored and no one wants to go to the museums with you. So you end up just doing the same old things which, But when you travel on your own, you just realize how old and bored and jaded you've become. Which is in my case. Which is I'm bored and I'm jaded. For me,
I don't think so.
No, my holiday, I'm sorry, my holiday is in my bathroom. Okay? That's my holiday. I don't care about all these other things. It's when people tell me, when I tell them that, they are like, no, you're just saying it for shock value. I'm not. I was born outside the country. I've studied outside. I graduated outside the country. I've traveled so much extensively on holidays and on work, and I just find everything so underwhelming. Like I'm speaking of, like in socially. I'll never pick up the phone and say, oh, I went here and I went there, or I bought this. And the way people talk, firstly, I don't have patience to listen to them, which has made me really a painful person to deal with. But the sharing of information, like someone will be saying, oh, I went to this opera and that, and I've been to an opera. I've been to the opera in Verona. We had the good fortune of having Mr. Zubin Mehta himself on our table, seated next to us. We had the best seats in the house, all that. And they'll be going on about opera and this and that and blah, blah. And they won't even know about this experience. I won't even bother telling anyone. Why? I just can't be bothered.
But as a designer, isn't it, don't you have to kind of extrapolate these feelings and all that when the
Only
creative
it comes
process?
out in my work.
Yeah.
So that's what
I'm just so bad at everything else. I'm like, see, because everyone's like, oh, with your talent, you should be here and you should be there. I should be in here, that's okay. Who's saying I'm feeling bad about it? You look like you're feeling bad about it. I'm very happy where I am. Everyone knows who I am. People fly down from all over the world to order clothes with me. Why am I bothered?
How has your multicultural life, like Mysore Inheritance, and the time you spent in Europe, Italy also, how has that influenced your career, your work?
See, you have to understand. I got married when I was 21. That's a baby.
Yeah. You
Okay.
don't hear of it now.
Yeah, I was 21, 22, say, when I got married. And from the age of 16 to the age of 20, I was in Rome. I graduated over there. But my experience in Rome and just being in a city
Yeah.
like Rome, which was, I would say, so Italian. It's like a very insular society. Italy and France are not like America or I think places in Europe are very insular. Like if you go to Germany, you go to Germany. You're not going to find, you'll find few people speaking English, but it's not going to be like hanging out in like Australia. Obviously, no one's going to speak English, which means your medium of learning is what? So that means I had to learn Italian,
Yeah.
which means I studied fashion and photography in Italian, which means you start talking a language, you get friends in that language, then what else happens? You enjoy the food more, you're able to move around more, and that becomes a part of who you are. And for me, more than Italian, I would say Roman.
Yeah.
You know, because from a world perspective, whenever you speak of Italy, it's like this one monolithic, everyone's like Italian, leather jacket and gelled hair and God knows what the stereotype is, but it's not. The Romans are different from the people in Napoli. The Milanese are different, the Genovese are different. Like everyone, it's like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, exactly the same. So I would consider myself more Roman.
Than Italian.
The Roman identity and the Roman influence has been more on me than the Italian. And I'm grateful for it.
How do you say that? Give an example.
People in Rome, I'm speaking of in those days, okay? They've seen everything. There's nothing else for someone in the city of Rome. It's like Delhi people.
History.
If you take Delhi, if you take Rome, okay, they've been plundered, they've been looted, okay, they've been centers of art and culture, okay, they are the capitals of their respective countries. You tell me what's different between a Delhi person and a Hyderabad person and a Chennai person? Like huge.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. So when you live in Rome, you understand that everything is an ebb and flow. And it's a melting pot of people over there. But everyone going to Rome to learn Italian and what it is to live that Italian life. Yeah. No one's going there being an American and sticking on to the American heritage. Yeah. They're going there to just absorb, you know, to just get into that whole culture. As soon as anyone arrives over there, the first thing you do is go to Dante Alighieri, which is a place where you learn Italian. That's the first thing you do.
So what, according to you, is the fashion capital, Paris or Italy?
So controversial. You know what? This world has become a strange place. Okay? And if this was a question 10 years ago you asked me, I would have said it's a tie between Milan, London and Paris. All a little bit. And Paris always thinking that they're the number one. Fair enough, let them be. Because there's many other areas they're kind of lagging behind. But now everyone's got a part of the pie. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not just that one person dominating anymore.
Yeah.
American fashion is not on the sidelines anymore. Street fashion is not on the sidelines. You have the whole street, the whole philosophy, the whole way of presentation, the kind of fabrics they're using, everything entering mainstream now. You know, whether it's Kanye, Balenciaga, all these things, and all the new young designers who are entering the Louis Vuitton and all the huge big brands, whoever's entering there, what are they doing? How many of them are doing couture? You still have the French couture houses. Okay, and they are an existence apart. And you've got few of them in Italy as well, and I'm sure not many, but maybe little bit in England.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that. We're not talking of high fashion. We're talking of breadth. We're speaking of, you know, streetwear, big brands. Now it's all mixed up. It's American fashion with a kind of Milan and Paris, that kind of thing. I would say New York enters here in a big way, because actually it's America that's dictating what they want to see, whether the Kardashians are wearing it or whoever's wearing it.
Yeah, but I had this friend from Italy, and she was in the fashion background, and she told me that everyone, maybe because she was an Italian herself, and she said that everyone thinks that Paris is the fashion and France is the fashion capital, but it all started in Italy, and she was showing me where, and she took me around places, and also that another thing about the food there, which I found very interesting, was
Where?
in Italy.
Yeah, I think that's the best part of
Yeah.
Italy. The people in Rome are the salt of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they love to eat, okay? They're the eaters and the sleepers of Italy. You know, the world works and Rome sleeps. Okay, that's the way it is. And it's truly, you know, I'm not going to tell you the year I went in because it was like really far back. They used to have siestas till that time.
Okay.
I don't know now how it is because I haven't bothered checking up.
Yeah.
In Rome, they used to have siestas
Nice.
from 2 in the afternoon till 4 in the afternoon. After all that lovely fettuccine and, you know, God knows what they'll be eating, and they'll have their coffee, and then they'll smoke 2 cigarettes, and then they'll fall asleep. But you know
Goa
what?
used to be like that.
Everyone should be like that.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Everyone should be like that. We are wrong.
Yeah.
The world has gone mad. I'm telling you, the world, and we can't go back now.
Yeah.
We worship money too much.
Too much.
And progress. Yeah, it's a doom. We're doomed.
Yeah.
So suppose there are 4 fashion personalities: expressive, romantic, classic, and relaxed. Which one do you relate to most?
Romantic.
Okay.
Absolutely. The thing is, whenever you see my clothes are very sensual. I design mainly for women.
Yeah.
And for me, a woman being desired is very, very important. And being remembered is even more important. I don't want women who wear my clothes to enter the room, exit the room, and then they draw a blank when you say, oh, do you remember? Okay, fine, don't remember her. I remember my outfit. You know?
But I see a lot of colors in your garments.
Yeah, it depends which season it is. Generally, it's a lot of pastels. I do a lot of pastels. I hardly ever use black. I don't know why I'm not able to use black at all in any of my creations. It is so bizarre.
And I saw, it was very interesting, the recent collection of
Yeah.
yours had these applique of
Flowers, white
yeah,
flowers.
Yeah.
That's a spring summer cotton. It's like a non-fussy thing. But what we're launching now for the festive season is beyond romance. It is, I'm so in love with God knows what. I'm in love with myself. I'm in love with love. It's just a romantic, beautiful collection. And it goes from Indo-Western to Indian, but more Indian. Yeah.
Okay. We would like to hear more about it.
It's all about...
Where did you get your inspiration?
Well, it's basically it's a lot of embroidery with my favorite flower, which is the rose, and we're having a lot of floral embroideries. We're having a lot of heavy Zardozi embroideries mixed with it, a lot of pearl work, but very kind of I would say very gossamer and very pretty and very romantic. It's coming out in August. You'll see it when it does. And it's really one of those very, very romantic, very fragile. Like fairy, like a fairy would wear something and flit around, wear my outfit and flit around and then disappear from the window and everyone remember. But no one will know who she is, the mystery woman. You know, that kind of, that's the look I love to, I like to make women look beautiful, beautiful. Firstly, to my own eyes. And of course, when they wear my clothes, they should feel special. the way I want them to feel. It's very important. Clothes make you feel things. Men won't understand that because firstly they don't feel things on a normal level itself. But when women, you put on something which is sheer and beautiful fabric, makes you feel a certain way. Perfume makes you feel a certain. We're very kind of sensory people. I think guys are more into what they see, right? They're visual, but we are sensory. So for me, it's important that when a woman wears my clothes, she should feel, and guys should remember.
What do you say, Edison?
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm like that about shoes. For me, blue jeans are blue jeans, but my shoes, they have to be.
Some people are, and their watches.
Yeah.
I know guys with watches, they go quite mad.
Yeah.
Statement
Cars,
pieces,
cars, watches, some silver jewelry. But for women, it's like clothes and makeup and music. It's everything, food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tell us about the most fashionable people you know.
Where? All over the world, or just people like we know?
Someone you know.
Actually, Delhi has a lot of style. I see a lot of people in Delhi. The usual suspects are okay, fine. They understand their designers. But what is style? Style is a person who's able to mix money with non-money and kind of present something that's unique, which is just like themselves. You know what I mean? What is style? Now, who in Chennai has style? Who in Mumbai has a style? Who in Delhi? There's a long list of people. And I'll have to sit down and think carefully because I don't want to give them the crown if they don't really deserve it. So I'm not going to say anyone.
Okay.
Okay?
We respect that.
But not the usual suspects. Because by just wearing designer brands from head to foot doesn't mean anything at all.
Absolutely, I agree.
You know what I mean? It's scary.
Yeah.
It is so scary.
Yeah.
I don't know how people just do this. It's like very, very scary when you see, like, you've spent so much and still you're looking just like you're trying too hard.
Yeah. That is something even I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
just sad.
So back in those days when you were younger, would you date someone who had a terrible sense of fashion?
I wouldn't date. I'm giving you all the kosher answers, okay?
Come on, give us something more.
The thing was, dating was a big deal, okay? Remember, I am the ambassador's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't go out without people surrounding us, okay? Whether we're in Iran, there's always someone with us. You can't just walk around as if you got, So, and you're Muslim, and you're only 21. What's your experience going to be like?
Yeah.
You could have had people you had crushes on, but it was not encouraged, especially in a foreign country. You know what I mean? Yeah, you go out, date this one, that. I would have loved to date. I would have loved it. But we're always too mortified to do things openly. You know what I mean?
So do you think you've missed out on something?
No. We had a lot of friends who were boys.
Okay.
Lots of, we used to go out with friends in groups. I never missed out on it. I even had part-time jobs. I worked in Godfather 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were not cloistered and starved of everything. We had a blast. But it's just this we had to think. Because firstly, everyone, you can't just, and over here in India, when we say Indian Foreign Service Ambassador, it's not a big deal for us in India. For us, a big deal is business person, industrialist. But in Italy or in any European place, the minute you say ambassador, it means something. It adds a lot of weight.
Yeah. So we're conscious about that.
Yeah, people are conscious that this gentleman is representing this country.
Yeah.
And India's always, of course now India is shining, etc. But India's always had a good standing with the entire world. It's not like suddenly India is has become India's glowing and shining and whatever. You know what I mean? even in those days, the kind of respect our country has all over the world is unbelievable. Without the power, without anything, people respect us. And I wish people in India knew that people respecting us is not a new thing. It's been there.
Yes.
It's been there. Now maybe we're more economically savvy and we have technology and we are where our GDP is going up and we're looking good. There was always respect for us. You have to understand. You know why? Why? Because we were very definite and very certain about what our foreign policy was.
Right.
You know what I mean? We were not the richest country. And these are our friends. You can be our friend, but we cannot go on towing your line. So people have always respected India.
Yeah.
Irrespective whether we had the money or didn't have the money, or we had the government, right government, wrong government, whichever government. Because India is greater than who represents them.
Right.
You get it?
I'm so glad you feel this way.
100%.
Yes.
Why did I come back here? Why did I come back here? My sisters are all over the world. One is in Australia, one is in England, and one is in Canada. Why did I come back here? I did not come back here out of fluke. I didn't have to get married at 21. You know what I mean? No one was putting a gun against my head. In fact, everyone was shocked that among all four of us, I was the first one to get married.
Oh, okay.
I'm number 3. I'm the third child.
Okay.
And I decided to get married first because I wanted to come back to India. And I said, I want my country to be like the number 1 country in the world, the superpower in the world.
It's amazing.
Something in my heart, some contribution, even if it wasn't the most frivolous arena, like fashion. I didn't know what my contribution would be, but I said, I have to see this country be number 1. And I don't know whether we're number 1 or number 100. But I hope we are in a little better place than we were about 25 years ago, 30 years ago. Really. I really hope. Yeah.
I'm sure.
I really hope. It's stupid for people to say they love their country. That's not something you talk about.
Yeah.
If you're truly patriotic, you don't have to go on tom-tomming it and talking about it. And you know what I mean? The minute people are like, "Main desh bhakt hu," I'm like, please, if you don't talk about God and you don't talk about politics.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't talk about your country. You keep these things because it's a given. You're supposed to feel like that. There's no question about it. But the thing is, I always felt like some connection with, like all my sisters also have it and they miss India really quite a bit. But I would say there's a lot of love for this country. A lot of love. Maybe because we ourselves have immigrated to India 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of love for this country.
What makes fashion so interesting?
Fashion is interesting because it is ever changing. And what is ever changing is never changing.
Okay.
Because everything is a circle. Everything's a circle. Fashion is fun because it demonstrates the time in which we live. But in a very kind of material and, we see it. Like, what is today? What does it mean? Fashion is something we can see. It kind of represents the time we live in. It really kind of and reflects that time. So for me, that's what's exciting. And what's exciting is today with the whole world wearing anything they feel like wearing. Like there's no taboo on anything. Especially in a country like India, United States, all over Europe. People can just go crazy and wear what they want. And India in any way is quite, I would say, ahead of its times. Look at our sense of color in India.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You'll wear chutney green with mango yellow and mutai pink. Like who on earth wears those colors and carries them off? Okay? Then you have the other side. They'll wear grey and then they will think grey is also too much color. I have clients. Grey is too much color. It's too bright.
Oh God.
Black. Because they can only think in black. Black, this, black. Everything's black. My daughter is one of those people. My daughter only likes to wear black. Yeah, she will not wear any other color.
But as I entered your store in Taj,
Uh-huh.
I love the purple that you
Yeah,
used.
I love that color.
Yeah, I think.
I love that color.
Yeah.
I do a lot of things. Yeah, but the thing is, color is such an intrinsic part of our culture.
Yeah.
Actually, we are the natural home of fashion. Frankly speaking, it's nobody. It's not France. It's not Italy. Sorry. It's not anywhere. It's India. Another 10, 15, 20 years max. It's going to be India. We are going to be the dominant power in fashion across the world. Why? Because firstly, we have the hands to do it. Secondly, we have the sensibility to do it. Thirdly, we have the talent to do it. You understand?
Yeah.
You can't do that type of production anymore in Europe. You can't. It's unaffordable. Ultimately, they'll have to shift. And everyone will shift here. Even though China is as good as us, huh? Even China has got a great repertoire of embroidery. They are not some hick country. They are.
Yeah.
They are.
But
good.
I think in terms of creativity and things like that, I think we are still ahead of
Not
China.
I think China and us are like this.
Yeah.
Except they are more organized.
Yeah. Of course.
You know what I mean? And they have the whole state apparatus helping them. Whereas us,
It's an
we
individual
are
pursuit.
battling against everything.
Right.
For finance, for labor, for taxes. We are just at every level we are being hit. Everything is a nuisance value. There, you go to city after city is made keeping an industry in mind. Like you go to Guangzhou. Everything you get there.
Everything, yeah.
It's like having one full Nungambakam only of fabric.
Wow.
Nungambakam, every shop, every hotel, every nook, every corner
Selling
is
fabric.
only selling fabric. 3 buildings the size of Taj Coromandel only selling
Fabric.
zips,
Zips.
zips, zips and buttons.
Wow.
That place has got its own airport. Yeah, please. This is what you call public and private partnership.
Yeah.
The government doesn't own those brands that are selling fabrics. They don't own those factories, but they own that infrastructure from where they're making money.
And they give them an airport to do
Everything,
business.
it is shocking.
Yeah.
Can you imagine as a creative person,
Yeah.
you go to one place.
Yeah.
If you don't find it there, you don't find it anywhere. It's not there in the world. Laces, Chantilly laces, silks, silk georgette, silk chiffon, silk satin silk, bridal silk, printing, any kind of surface ornamentation,
Wow.
hot stone, cold stone.
Everything.
It's like what you cannot even perceive and conceive is available
It's
there.
there.
How do we compete with them? Surat is trying to do something. Surat is trying to do something. Why doesn't every state have something like this? This is what I cannot understand.
Yeah, especially when we had a place like Tirupur, which could have really.
My God, Tirupur could have had it all.
Yeah.
It could. Why isn't the government participating in this conversation with me? We don't have a textile museum in our state.
Right.
Like,
right.
what is that about? You know how many times I've gone to the secretariat to ask for a building,
To have a museum.
to have the museum. I said, if you're interested, we put the whole thing together.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean Rehane is going to be I'll be cutting swatches and you know, there are people who do this.
Yeah.
You have the Craft Council of the World, Craft Council of India.
Yeah.
These are all people who are my colleagues, who are my friends. I'll get all of them on board. People from Delhi, people from Mumbai, from all over India.
Yeah.
Start a museum. Why can't we make a textile museum for ourselves in Chennai? Like, what is a complicated thing about it? We're not good enough to have a museum. Ahmedabad gets such a beautiful museum. Why can't we have one? Why can't we be the hub for textiles?
Yeah.
This is the conversation we need to have.
Right. Yeah.
But now, I'm doing so many wedding clothes, I have no time for any conversation with anyone.
So is it hard to stay innovative all the time?
Not at all.
No?
I'm just born being innovative.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's not for me, it's not at all.
Nice.
I'll just sit there, it just comes so naturally.
Lovely. And how AI literate are you?
Listen,
Or-
I'm an illiterate. Okay, let's just get that really out of the way.
Okay.
I've done my 12th standard. That's all I can tell you. And after that, I did fashion, which according to all of us, you're uneducated. So, I mean, call me what you may. I came first in university. I did brilliantly. But if you ask any proper, like a serious-minded Indian parent, they'll say, oh, so sad, she's uneducated. Yeah.
But do you think AI is going to influence fashion or the creative fields in any way?
I don't think what we do, any AI can do.
Okay.
Impossible. Impossible. Can AI become God?
Right.
We all, of course, Toba, we're not God. But everything we create, we could be selling it for 10 rupees or 10 lakh rupees or 10 trillion rupees. It doesn't matter. It is something that is from Rehane, from whichever designer, whether it's designing cars, designing clothes, and then everything is, when you design something, there's so many influences, no? And people like me are from old school, na? We are not going into Pinterest to get inspired. You understand? AI is only going to get inspired from what people like me have put out there. Correct?
Agreed.
They're not going to get inspired by more than that. Where do we get our inspiration from? We are born inspired. What are you going to compete with me? Maybe my sense of business is very messed up. But as far as the raw performance of a sketch and an idea and a concept, I don't know anyone who can take me on. I don't know anyone, like nobody.
So coming to that, I had a question. Who is the business head of your company? Besides the creative part, do you also look
Listen,
at
come on.
other aspects
Okay,
of
the fact that
accounting?
I'm world famous in the south of India means I'm the business head. Okay, and it's okay. I'm cool.
What about accounting? Do you?
No, I have someone who makes my life miserable. Yeah. Don't talk about money, please. Money, accounts, all these things are just horrible.
So does your husband come in? Sometimes?
No, please. It's like asking my husband whether I go in and help him. He'll do this and I'm doing this. I think it's good to just be married and try to work that out. And just please, business separate, never
Mind
try
your own
to.
business.
Try never to.
Yeah.
There's no chance. No.
And which sustainable brands do you like?
I don't like anything that's so trend-centric. Sustainable brands. We've been doing sustainable for so long. Handloom, khadi, khaddar, all this. It's never the main part of the collection, but definitely it pops up. You know, a capsule collection of just khadi, capsule collection of just indigo. You know, it pops up. It's not like, no, we are only going to use very, what do you call it, fabric that affects the environment. We are very cool with everything. We do a lot of different things.
What are your weaknesses?
Boredom. Get bored very easily.
You mentioned.
People bore me sometimes, you know. I get bored, like in a minute, I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. I don't want to speak to anyone. It was like, what the hell? You've just gotten here. If I go for any kind of party, for me, I'm having fun till I'm dressing up. The minute I go, I'm like, hi. And I'm like, okay, when can we go? And I was like, what's wrong with you, man? Chill.
It happens with me.
I don't
also.
know what this chill is. Chill. I'm not able to.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fine. Next. You know, I just want to keep moving. I get bored very easily with people, and I don't get bored at all with myself.
That's
I can spend hours with myself, reading, sketching, not doing anything, just sitting like one cabbage.
Do you watch Netflix too?
No, I don't like to waste my time.
Okay.
I do a lot of I'm very spiritual. I pray a lot. I read a lot of holy books. I read.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
What is your personal style?
My personal style is, I would say, modern. It is a silhouette that's close to the body. Definitely, it has an element of sex appeal. It's timeless because I have pieces in my cupboard which I have created like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, which I can still wear. Firstly, because I fit into them.
That's amazing. What is your greatest accomplishment?
My greatest accomplishment is that I haven't lost my innocence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't lost I can still be quite naive and stupid. And I feel that's an accomplishment.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. I get bored with people, but I'm, I still get surprised and I'm still in awe and,
Yeah.
I still look at the human species with a little hope. I think I've held on to that and I'm very proud of that.
And can you laugh at anything stupid and silly?
No, generally I laugh at very sad things.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone will be crying and I'll be like laughing. Or when, for example, if there's an argument and someone insults me or someone's rude or I hear something which is like not the nicest thing, I laugh. I can't tell you, at such strange junctures in my life where everyone's like literally looking at me so seriously and like the judge who's going to pronounce some verdict. I'm like dying inside, laughing. Anyone else would be crying. But I think fear is one weird thing. I don't have much of that. I don't have that.
That's great, right?
One fear gene is missing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's damn good. Only thing I can't drive a car. Because that's scary for me.
That's also a good thing. You don't have to drive one.
Over the years, do you have any favorite party look that stands out?
I'm like such a non-party person. I told you, I just like to dress up.
Yeah.
And for me, then after that, the party is over. Party look is what?
Do you like wearing saris or?
I like to be dressed like, I'm sure I was a drag queen in my last birth. Because I love to wear things that are very diva, I like to wear sparkly things and I like to wear the feathers and I like to wear something that has a recall value to it. I'll never just be dressed like in one plain, I just can't dress like that.
So you must be standing out then
As it is, I stand out. So I stand out a bit more.
And that doesn't affect you.
I love it. Anyway, I'm going to stand out. So why should I pretend?
Yeah.
Correct.
I love the attitude.
But that's the truth,
Yeah.
no? Even if I have to be dressed as a clone in India, I will stand out. Maybe abroad, I won't stand out. Okay, if I'm in a place like Italy, I look like everyone else there. Okay, in India, I do stand out because my features are slightly more different from everyone. But in Italy, you couldn't spot the difference. So that's where I started enjoying dressing up to stand out. So here anyway I stand out and now I have that bad habit. So I put that with this and really stand out. So I'm too much, especially for a place like Chennai, where everyone wants to blend in. I'm like, what are you hiding that you want to blend in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do you want to blend in? Why? Like murderers and spies always want to blend in. You understand?
True.
Be yourself. If you want to stand out, wear one fur coat, wear it. Thigh-high boots, wear it. Want to wear one burqa covered from head to toe, with just eyes showing with gloves in your hand in the middle of the heat? Please, wear it. You know what I mean? Express yourself. I'm all for that. Just don't be like, hey, what will they say if I wear this? How many times have we heard this?
Yes.
And me being in fashion? hey, what will they say if I wear this? I'll say, wow, what a hot mama. No, but I'm a mother-in-law now. I'm just telling you how people talk. What you stop being a woman, is it? Your mother-in-law now? Like what? You don't want anyone to find you attractive? Because I don't think they've met anyone like me. I'm so expansive. Like you can be anything. I will accept you. Yeah. You will not accept me. You will have problems with me. I know how people are. I've lived all over the world. I've seen so much of the world. And I've had such different experiences that even though I'm not a judgmental person, I don't care where a person is coming from, whether their religion, the way they dress, anything, what language they speak, what their thoughts are. I'll never judge them. But I know that I'm being judged. I know it. It's not a preconceived notion. Like I have a really bitchy friend who always tells me, of course I won't mention his name, Rehane, you know how you speak like you're giving an interview. I don't have the time for you. I have friends like this. Okay? Horror. But the thing is, lots of people do find me very intimidating. And that's why I like to stick to myself.
So have you had any other design collaborations over the years with anyone else?
I've had collaborations with people who are in the business of selling Kani jamewars.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I have an obsession for old things.
That must have been an expensive
Of course.
collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like from time to time I get these people down with shawls, borders. It's not my product, it's theirs. But I give them my platform.
Yeah.
And I also have a lot of stuff and I like to see what they have so what I can buy from them. But now
Chennai you don't use
but we collect, no?
Yeah.
There's a huge cross section of people who collect because they love.
Yeah.
Because firstly they come from those kind of families that already has. So if you have like 10 Patahua shawls, why not add in another 3-4 Patahua shawls?
Yeah.
We're very happy. I've got a lot from handed down from generation to generation. I have beautiful shawls, beautiful things. But everything is like disintegrating. That's why I'm saying museum. So at least I can give it to the museum.
How do you preserve them, Rehane? I mean,
crying and doing with a lot of. You have to take them out. You have to put them in the sun, only in the sun, or infrared. One of the two. Now, who the hell is going to look for infrared? Put them in the sun. Luckily, we have the sun over here. Put them in the sun. Then you have to see that there are no dust mites. If things
no moisture.
No moisture. You have to get your seamstress makeup. But then you have your Kashmiri darners that come down.
Will come down.
And they can darn it. But it's so expensive, so time consuming. So what happens is half the time you're like, okay, you know what, forget it. We just fold it, and if you fold your shawls, it's going to tear wherever you're folding it. If if you roll the old saris, the Banarases and the tissues, at some point you have to open it. It starts splitting. It's such a nuisance.
Have you found a way to?
Yeah, the thing is you have to look after them. You have to take them out of the cupboard and put them back. And every time you take them out, they become older. I've worn lots of them. I've worn lots. There's a sari of my great-grandmother's with Mukesh Kakam, silver, pure silver, which I've worn. You can still wear it today. It's holding well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the pictures sometime.
Yes, for sure. Beautiful it is. Must be at least 100 years old. On silk tulle from Paris, which they bought down and then they did the work here.
So how do you hope people feel after reading about your past and your journey? What's the takeaway?
I don't care what people think about me. I don't attach any importance to myself. Like nothing. Zero. Absolutely zero. Less than that maybe. Doesn't matter what people think of me. You know what I mean? It does. I'm not just saying that. I'm telling you from a perspective of a person who's quite expansive. and I would say spiritual, religious to a certain extent, not very. But how does it matter to me how people perceive me?
No, it's just how did you handle this? I mean,
Whatever with my
yeah, with
yeah.
your past. So it's just I want our readers to know what you have learned and how they could handle difficult situations.
See, I'll tell you a situation. When you're in the eye of the storm, you're the most calm. Have you ever been through any kind of traumatic, very traumatic situation?
Yes.
Have you seen? Do you notice how calm you were in the middle of it all? Were you calm?
No.
Oh, then maybe I'm built differently. Because don't forget, our situation is like whatever we went through. The thing is, I don't want to talk about it, but I had a dream, an actual dream of what happened, which I told my mother-in-law. And in those days, we had no contact with my mother when she was started missing. And about a month later, we heard about it, and it was exactly how I dreamt.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It pains you that a life has been wasted. A life is so important. And my mother would have been younger than me. You know what I mean? Poor thing. Wherever she is, may she be at peace. May she be blessed. May she be forgiven of all her sins. May Allah Ta'ala look after her soul wherever she is. She suffered enough. I don't like to talk about it because it goes on. You know, the souls find it very difficult.
Yes.
I pray for her every single day, so I know. She just wants to be left alone.
But there was this movie also made.
Yeah, without our permission, it's just very sad. It's okay. People do what they want. You cannot stop people. Okay, I don't expect the human race, what are they? They're children. Everyone thinks we'll do this, we'll earn, we'll do, yeah. We are just grains of sand. That's all. Nothing more important than that. Here for a small time. Try to not make too much confusion while you're alive. Don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
Your spiritual journey, Rehane, I mean, when did it start? And
Very young.
yeah?
Yeah, very, very young. Very young.
Okay.
5, 6.
So you find yourself being more centered and more stronger
I'm like,
because of
I
that?
find myself to be so cut off from everything. Like, I just find myself cut off from everything.
Is it because you're getting that inner peace or?
No, I've always been like that. I'm born like that. I've always been. There'll always be me and talking to myself, you know, and very, very into the, you know, into God. Very into it. Very, very into it. Like very, either you can say that or very into myself. Whatever you want to say, but very introspective.
Yeah.
And at the same time, not someone who will just sit in a corner. I'll let you know what I'm thinking.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I will say it, but I won't make a conversation.
Right.
I'll communicate what I feel and then I'll just leave. That's it.
Yeah. No, today's conversation actually, you know, it made me think about this one person who's so strong from the inside,
Yeah.
you know, and who's able to, you know, come up with so much of creativity and offer so much to the world and be able to think about so many different
That's so
things.
sweet of you. I'll tell you, I've got one very weird way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I look at my life like a chest of drawers.
Yeah.
And each chest of drawer has got a different label.
Yeah.
One is children, one is career, one is husband, one is friends, one is journalists and my relationship, one is my Namazi endowment. I have an endowment which is 100 years old, which I'm the head of. That. One is this one. Now, if I'm having a problem in the career department and all this kachra is coming out of it, it's not fair that it touches the other drawers, right?
So the boxes don't touch.
The boxes should not touch, and you lock it up if it's giving you too much trouble. That's it.
That's amazing.
You will not let this drawer affect the children's drawer.
Yeah.
And you will not let the children's drawer affect the drawer where we're supposed to do my PR. and my public relations, or my connections which I have to make.
Yeah.
You will not let one thing affect the other. So you have to be mentally so strong not to say that I don't feel like it today. I've had a very bad fight with X, Y, Z, A, B, C. We don't give a shit who we've had a fight with.
I think you just gave our listeners the formula for life.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking of
That's
that.
so sweet of you. Yeah. Thank you.
How did you meet your husband?
You really want to know that?
Yeah, we all want to know.
How did I meet? Basically, I was in Italy, and we were on the way from Italy to Australia. And basically, my father is from Chennai. Like, he studied in Loyola College. He's a proper Chennai boy, Madras boy. So he studied in Dufferin Corries, and he studied in Loyola.
Very good tennis player, I'm told.
Fantastic tennis player.
Yeah.
Everything came easily to him. Writes poetry, paints, eloquent, speaks 7-8 languages, reads, speaks and writes in about, I would say, at least 5-6 languages.
Wow.
Not bad, no?
Very
Arabic,
amazing.
Persian, French, Italian, English, Hindi, Urdu, and he can speak Tamil.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so he's not your ordinary next door guy who doesn't know anything about anything. He really knows his chops. He's not an ordinary person from any angle. So I had the good fortune of growing up with him. And I'm going to sound old saying this. What was the question?
How do you meet your husband? So, we're trying to match up to your dad.
It's such a boring question. I'm trying to keep myself awake.
Okay, so tell us about the people in your life, those who have helped you, and especially those who have sabotaged you.
The people who sabotage me have helped me the most. Really.
Such an interesting thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone who's told me you're rubbish, you'll never do well, you'll be a failure. I was told this when I was about 14. Mark my words. You will never amount to anything. You are going to be just a failure your whole life. And I'd failed one exam at that time. I would have failed my 7th standard exam. And as it is, I was feeling like a worthless piece of nothing. And this person told me that you'll never be anything.
So that you take it up as a challenge then.
No, I really felt like I'll never be anything. I thought I'll be like one beggar on the streets. I think even that was too good. You don't tell a 13, 14-year-old child you'll be nothing. Especially when that child has failed one exam. Okay, I was dyslexic as a child. Okay, in those days, no one knew. And everyone used to say, you're a matthus, you're a matthus. Matthus was a word, like Urdu word, where you say like you're a dumbo, you're a dumbo. Okay, so like a dumbo, I was a dumbo. I was really dumb at a few things, but really sharp at a few other things. Okay. So Madam Dumbo, as it is, was feeling down and like a Dumbo. And then someone comes along and says, you, and I'm looking at them like this. Then I started doubting myself. Oh shit, maybe I'm really not going to be. Then afterwards I thought to myself, wait a minute. Self-belief. That inner voice. I will show you. I'll show you who I am. I may be 14. I may have failed 7th standard. That belief. I will do something someday. I will. Quiet voice. Never on my mouth. Just in my heart. And of course, the failing spree continued. That's how I landed in Narona. That generation of parents, my mother used to say, you can give her a nice slap if she doesn't listen to you. Has that ever happened to you? Give her a nice tight slap if she doesn't listen. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
You're on the same side here.
I used to look at her like, what the hell? I've had such weird school experiences. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's our generation.
Once my mother had not here in Delhi. I used to study in Presentation Convent in Delhi. My mother had a showdown with the principal.
Oh.
Yeah. Because they didn't give Eid holidays. So it was a Catholic school. So the principal said, listen, we don't give for Bakri Eid or something.
Oh, okay.
We don't give for Bakri Eid and all that. So she was like, but it's a public holiday. How can you not have a holiday? She was like, listen, we don't. And if you want, please take your kids out. So what do you think my mother did? She pulled all three of us out.
Really?
Three of us, not one. Three.
Wow.
3 kids got pulled out. I was in 3rd standard.
Wow.
She came and she said, from tomorrow they're not going to school. Why?
Wow.
So one day I was just discussing with Edison that how anxious I am with my children's studies. And then when he told me he failed, I was so happy because I was like, okay, you failed and yet you've achieved so much in life and done
Everyone
so much.
I know. I remember speaking to a very, very top industrialist daughter, and I was telling her, you know what, I have not done my 10th standard. Like, I've not done it. This is off the record.
Yeah.
So she said, don't worry. Even my father didn't. The rest is history.
Yeah.
I was like, no, but I feel bad. But I did my 12th. Because I did the American system 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, we had all those systems. Yeah.
No. But the thing is, look at my trajectory. Chennai. No, how did I land? I studied in Chennai also. Do you know that? Remember that presentation debacle where my mother took all of us out? Who would take us after that? Which school in Delhi or any place would take us after that?
Oh, so you came to Chennai? Oh,
My grandmother's here, no?
Right.
My grandmother had opened a school called MWA, Muslim Women's Association. It's in Gopalapuram.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah. She
So you
opened
said-
it for all the underprivileged Muslim children. So we were the underprivileged children who went there.
That's funny.
Okay.
The poor little rich girls.
We were there. And that time, the Vietnam War was coming to an end. A lot of Vietnamese students also were there. So we spent 2 years here in Chennai. We had never seen kids like that. Because it was like bipolar. Like in my grandmother's house, Wedgwood, silver, butler, full white. Okay? Das, she'll say, and he'll come. And she'll ring the bell, ting, 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 dinner served. You know what I mean? One old archaic system. And then we went to MWA. Aao ji tumhe, baitho ji. You know, everyone's sitting on the floor and eating and chewing their drumsticks and throwing it on the ground. From Delhi to Chennai, and my Chennai grandmother was even cooler than my own family in Delhi. Delhi, everything would be like normal. Grandmother sits straight, eat like this, eat like that. Perfectly run house, like a man's dream. Everything in place, everything working, food great, everything great. Clothes always ironed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A human being's dream. You'd never see the work happening, but everything was there. And one butler, 2 maids, 1 cook, 1 assistant cook, the usual, the works. So we're living in this house. And then we go to MWA school.
Yeah.
Very interesting though in life.
Where you have Muslims, like daughters of butchers, all sorts of people. But after the community saw us in that school, all the better families started sending their children as well. So that was the reason why we were put over there. But I had such a blast over there also. I can't tell you. It was such fun. We were exposed to different kind of people. I loved it. People who could not speak English. After MWA, we went to Bishop Cotton's.
Yeah.
So like we've been all over. And then Bishop Cotton's, of course, one full kind of Christian, Anglo-Indian type of upbringing. The whole school was very, we were very into sports and extracurricular. Bangalore's like that. Bangalore's not into studies at all. At all. It's like, okay, so like what is the sport you do? Are you in your hockey team? Everyone's more interested in that. Like, are you in any team? Oh, you've only studied? Oh my God. You don't drink? Oh my God. That, you know, if you don't drink, then there's something wrong with you. And if you have no bad habits, that means you are like a murderer.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be
Something
a murderer.
wrong.
No, you're going to be a murderer. Something's wrong. Like everything's wrong about you. Bangalore doesn't like squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Because we're all distrustful of it. We've seen too much. You ask him,
Yeah.
will he trust a person who doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't. So definitely you're a murderer, axe murderer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to Bangalore with my children now.
Oh, you love it? My dad lives there in Sankey
Yeah.
Road.
Okay. So it's the last question. How has parenting been for you? Was it a fun ride, challenging?
You know, I'm a very democratic parent, which actually my husband has a problem with that. Very democratic.
Do you like to elaborate?
Just, I'm like, when I think about what God has done, God said, okay, I've created you, okay? Here's your destiny. You're 1 year old. You're 1 year old. You can't read, write, can't speak, can't even walk, can't even go to the toilet here. This is your life. I trust you.
That's simple, no?
Just let go. Try to guide them, whatever. Guide them as much as you can. Like obviously, you know, cover your mouth when you're yawning. Yeah, you guide them all the
Basic,
the basic stuff. You guide them. You tell me you must study, you must. But basically, I'm not like, no, you must do this and you have to do that, and I can just guide you.
Yeah.
But I've seen that's not the right way. It's not the right way. You have to have very strict guidelines for kids. But then I've seen kids who've been brought up even with the strict guidelines. They're disasters when they're older. Once they touch like 30, 40, they're freaking disasters. They're disasters. They are cursed to their entire families.
Yeah.
Because they've been brought up perfect. You walk perfect, you talk perfect, everything's perfect, and you get up at this time and you do this and blah blah, you got the perfect, everything's perfect. And then they're so perfect, the arrogance sets in.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't need anything more than that. The minute you start thinking you're perfect, you know what happens?
Yeah.
It's the end.
Yeah.
Not for you. Because you are such a narcissist. You are so perfect. Everyone around you gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Everyone. Everybody around you gets destroyed. Because you're so perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Right.
agree.
So
I
I'm
know what
like,
you mean.
if my son says, for example, I don't want anyone to clean my room, 2 weeks go by, no one's cleaned the room for 2 weeks. I don't bother. I'm not going to make the maid go in or make the servants go in. For example, when he was growing up, I'll never push my way. Let him be there. Just let it be. You can only tell a person that much. In the end, they'll go back to being who they are.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
you.
And thank you. We've learned so much from you. And I hope our readers also benefit from your life.
Yes,
experiences.
inshallah. I think it's going to be more listeners than readers in the future, and all the best for your venture, inshallah. And I'm sure everyone will be very interested to listen to everything you have to say. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.